sucked
She's
on a
so
cough.
funny.
I sucked on a cough drop before I got here. What's this? What are we advertising here, though?
Oh, that's okay.
Okay,
They'll like that.
serendipity candles.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're awesome. Thank you for catching that, though.
I'm not gonna be reading anything. Do I need my? Well, I'll just put my readers off over here. Is this in the frame if I pull that closer to me?
It's not.
Okay.
We're good.
This is
So,
Oh no, is there gonna be a lot of giggling?
there might be.
maybe.
Yeah.
We're just going to make it like
We're having a conversation.
yeah.
If you're out there, you know who. No, just kidding.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for being here for our 4th episode. And today I have the honor and privilege of being here with yet another one of my good friends that is making a big change in health. Today I have Susan Schetter that is with me. And today she's going to talk about her journey and what she does to help others out. So please welcome Susan.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be talking to you.
All right.
So today we have so much to talk about. And I'm going to kind of let it up to you a little bit on
Okay.
your health journey and where you've come from that has brought you from that situation to where you are now.
Okay.
If you want to talk about that.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
great. That sounds great. Okay.
So
Yeah, so I mean, I would think mine is more. Right now I'm really focusing on mental health. In 2000, it was 2008. I was 37, and it was in September. I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. So I had 3 little kids. Just was getting ready to open up a photography studio, just rolling with life, and then it came along. So I went through that bilateral mastectomy, chemo, radiation, reconstructive surgery. So I had all that. And so, I thought okay, I'm doing good. I got through that and worked through it. I had some lymphedema in my arm, and I still do, that I deal with. But life was rolling really good. My kids growing up and everything. And then in 2019, I had an unexpected end to my marriage. Not anything that I was seeing that was going to happen, but it did. And got divorced in August of 2020. So when I was moving along, doing really good, and then that set me back, and I finally realized that okay, I can't do this by myself. I can't work through all this by myself. I'm treading water, just trying to make it for my kids, and kind of you're like trying to just survive and get through all that and everything. And then you're looking at my life is not going in the direction I ever thought it was. I mean, I was getting to a point where I was soon going to be an empty nester, and then it was going to be I and my spouse at the time. It was going to be our time, right? To go forth, have all the fun, and all these fun trips, and just really have life together again. So moving away from that, I had to seek out some counseling. And what that counseling showed me was that I hadn't really worked through the breast cancer things either.
wow.
So some of that started coming up, and really dealing with body image and so forth. Anybody could tell me, oh, Susan, we love you for more than, what your outside appearance is. But, as a woman, when you have the part of your body taken away that, symbolizes a lot of what being a woman is, right? From a physical standpoint, that's really hard to grasp and go through. But I also, right before I'll say my life crumbled with a divorce, I had been working on a photography project. So I do portrait photography, and I always have had this soft spot for women and helping women kind of know their worth, right? Going through breast cancer and being in the survivor group, and you see what some of these women are going through, and And I think society, we get caught up in, all the things that a woman's supposed to do, and we have like so many things we're juggling. So I did this project and it was called You Are Enough. And I asked women to come in and I just wanted to photograph them, but I also gave them a little homework. So they had to come up with words that describe them, that an outsider looking in would see, like, oh, you're an accountant, or you're a hairstylist, and you're a mom, or you're a sister. And I said, okay, so those are your, like, we'll say, labels. So then let's go beyond the labels. What else would somebody say about you? What do you want people to know about you? Like, I'm persistent, I'm loving, I'm hard-headed, I'm athletic, like all those kind of things. So I think I photographed about 70 women.
There was quite a few.
Yeah, it was a big project. And that was like 17, 18, and what I didn't realize is that project has kind of helped me get through when my life crumbled, because then I started going, oh, you're not worthy, you're not enough, or memories pop up on Facebook, and that can be very dangerous, because I'll look and be like, no wonder. Like, you see yourself in pictures, go, no wonder. Where I just sat there and told all these women, and you are enough, you're beautiful, you're lovely, you're a go-getter, and all that stuff. And I had so many women that would leave my studio and be like, thank you for that. Like, I was so nervous about this, and this really helped me. So looking back on that kind of was something that carried me through to that. So that's where then now I'm trying to get through, well, I'll say, like, menopause, like all that kind of stuff, and fight through that. And you battle, like, putting weight on, and oh gosh, what shouldn't you eat, what should you eat, all that kind of stuff. And I really have found, like, let's have our mental health in check first. So with that, with going through all the therapy and stuff, like, it helped me, but yet I don't have, like, maybe there's a lot of people, you don't have the funds to go all the time, or maybe you're just focusing on one thing. So for me, it's really been about searching stuff that's going to help with my mental well-being, because I feel like if I get that in order, or I'll say, like, as straightened up as you can in this world, right? Like, a better headspace to deal with, do I want to take on exercise? Do I want to change this or that in my diet? That's so forth. So, yeah. So just in that, it just, I'm constantly, always searching for stuff on that realm.
Sure.
And so, and I know, like, we've talked about it, and I've come across a device. So I'll just show you here. So I came across this device. I had joined a company, and it's called Awakened. And a friend of mine's like, oh my gosh, you got to join. Like, they have this great product that it's going to help with your leveling up your hormones and things like that. And so many of us, there might be a reason, like, we really can't lose the weight, we can't drop the weight, because we have so many hormones that our doctors and things like that don't really talk about. So I actually got in it for that. And then when I went to conference, they announced that they released a couple other products, but then we got a hold of this Awakened Mind powered by BrainTap. So I've been using this since about June, and it's a light and sound therapy. And what it does is it helps with it's like brain entertainment type of thing. But what it does is it helps with lowering your stress levels and getting you out of that fight or flight mode that we're all in.
Yes, sure.
And I didn't realize, like, I mean, I'm talking this, I'm a layperson, like, I know what it's doing for me, right? And I've known, I know from Dr. Porter, who created the device, and then from several of other doctors that are in this company. But like, I think it's like 1 in 3 of us are so high stress right now, Americans.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yes.
But we're all like in this fight or flight because we have alarms that go off, we have our phones that go off, we have busy schedules, we're taking kids here or there, or we have maybe now with the economy right now, like maybe we're holding down several jobs and things like that. So we're so stressed, we never let ourselves get out of fight or flight. And what this does by just putting this on, and then it has sessions that you pick from. It's very simple. You put this on and you get like anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes of rest, and you're letting your body rest. But and you can fall asleep. Like it's people say, well, am I doing this right? I fell asleep. You're doing it perfectly. So you put this on and you're going to listen to a positive message. It might be music. It might be things that help you in your business. It might help you to be better in sports, all those kind of things. But what it's doing is it's getting your body, your brain out of that fight or flight mode. So
relaxing it in a sense.
Yes, it's relaxing. It's lowering your cortisol levels. So it helps a lot with stress, anxiety, depression, your energy levels, your cognitive, all the thinking, the recall, all that kind of thing that I just think probably from, everything we're eating and drinking and all that stuff, not getting enough sleep. It helps better your sleep. It helps you perform better at your job. So I've been using it since June, and it's really helping me get over this hump of getting myself back out there, of going through something like I've gone, several things that I've gone through, and getting myself back out there and being more confident and not being as anxious, not as stressed, sleeping better, that sort of thing. So, it's one of the things that I'm, trying to use for the health side for my mental health.
So how, with an apparatus like that,
Mm-hmm.
how long does a person have to wear it before it starts to
So the thing about it is I've done, so there's an introduction session, and what I love about it is you put it on and it's 16 minutes, and Dr. Porter explains kind of what's going on. There's binary beats, there's light therapy, that sort of thing that your brain is picking up on, right? And I've had people that just after that introductory session, they go, oh my gosh, I've never felt this relaxed before, or I can't remember the last time I relaxed like this. I've had people that'll, have it done, and then they text me later and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so great today. I have lots of energy. But really, within 6 weeks, it's definitely a major change for you. So you can do it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and you want to try and do it once a day. And what I do is, it's kind of like anything, we got to like prioritize things,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
So what I try and do is in the morning, I'll set my alarm like 15 minutes early. So I have this sitting ready and I'm still in bed. I put it on and close my eyes, and it's like getting another 2 hours of sleep. So if you're a person who just sits there and keeps hitting snooze, that is junk sleep. You just may as well get up on that first one. But with this, if you want to be the person who hits a snooze, well, turn off your alarm, put this on, and then with an AM session, it wakes your brain up. It's like that morning coffee, but not with all the caffeine and everything that's, could be, right, could be harmful to you later. You kind of crash later, so you put this on. So then say, you get to like 2, 3 o'clock and you hit a wall in your day. You just, I don't have the energy, or why can't I solve this problem? Why can't I focus? So you listen to another session. And it's like getting a power nap, and you can come out with more energy. And you're going to go at that problem and probably solve it right away, right? Or you're going to be able to be more present with your family. You come home from work. A lot of us come home from work and we got to make dinner, we got to do all this stuff. Well, just 15 minutes with this, then you can sit and you can be present with your family, and you can concentrate, you can hear conversations better, you can take all that in. And then I put this on at night. I don't sleep in it. But you put it on at night and you listen to a session, and sometimes I'm like, oh man, is this gonna work? And then next thing I know, I wake up and I have this on, and you got to take it off or whatever. So But what I love about it is, you can pick things that are gonna. There's so much negativity in the world that there's so much positivity that is spoken through this. Yes, and you can pick subjects that you want to work on. Do you want to work on being less stressed, less agitated? Do you want to work on being able to better communicate with people? Do you want to the kids are wearing this to help with in sports and to kind of have that mindset, but also to help with preventing concussions, or helping as another tool to help with concussions, brain recovery. So, and then there's also do I want to eat better? Do I want to be a healthier person? Do I want to exercise more? Well, you can listen to those that puts it in your mind that says you're not going to want to eat those foods. You're going to want to eat vibrant foods, whole foods, drink lots of water. You're going to want to go for a walk. So it's telling, your brain's hearing that. So then you wake up and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go for a walk today. Or yeah, I'm going to, instead of grabbing chips, I'm going to grab, some cucumbers or something, just anything like that. So yeah.
I can't wait for someone to come back to you and say, hey, I just ran 10 miles and I've never done anything before.
Well, I'm not, yeah, right. I'm not sure if that would happen, but, I have some people that, I have one client, she wasn't sleeping.
Yes, I remember.
Yes,
that.
And she, with the first one, she said, I know I'm going to beat this thing. I'm going to be the one. And then she's like, oh, I slept all night.
It was for years, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that she had issues with sleeping?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so there's so many stories about it, and the way I look at it, yes, we need our therapists, we need those kind of things. But what this does do is, if I would go to therapy and work through some things, then when I leave and I would use this, it's going to help solidify all that and help me keep working through it. So it's like one of those things you can just keep stacking. You work out, then you go and listen to this, and it's helping with that recovery from workout. So it's like those things that you can stack on. But what I love is it's not another drug we're stacking on.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
It's
good.
good.
Yes, and the whole family can use it. I say the only drawback is it's not really a drawback. It's like you might take a nap. So it's really simple to use. So it's like just headphones. You put this on, and then you're going to pick a session from the app, and you press play, put the visor down, and then you just sit back and relax.
So when they go onto the app itself, they would know,
right?
Because it's categorized for
categorized everything, and then you just lay back. You can lay back. You can sit, whatever. You can sit in a meditative seating position or lay down, whatever.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit? 'Cause we had talked about this. The light.
Yes.
That
So
goes into your ears.
There's lights that go. So here in the headphones, there's lights. And then there will be lights here. Like once your session starts, there's lights that work on the eye area too. You have your eyes closed because your eyes, you're still absorbing it. Your brain is still absorbing the lights. So your ears are also light receptors. So that's why there's light in the ears. And then there's you actually have like acupuncture areas in your ears. So it also does that as well.
Wow.
Yes. It's helping thousands of people, and it's something that it's been around for 15 years. It's just not been in the space of you and I can get it, right? It's been sports teams. Some major sports teams have this, that they use. There's some boxers out there that use this. There's the professionals, and then it was chiropractors and doctors were using this on their patients. But now it's like, hey, let's get this in everybody's home. Let's get this around the world so we can,
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
Thank goodness. So let's go back just a little bit, and I promise
Sure.
we'll
No,
get back
no,
because I
you know,
think that is an amazing tool.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your cancer diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find out? What happened?
So, I had, it was in my right breast, and I just knew something wasn't right. So, they say for you should go get checked, right? So I was 37. So 5 years, so I'll back up. So 5 years before that, my mom got diagnosed.
Wow.
And I remember saying to my doctor, "Oh, do you think I should get a mammogram? I've never had a mammogram. My mom just got diagnosed." Well, then it was like, what type of breast cancer does she have? And I said, well, they think it's caused by like hormone replacement things that, when you hit menopause and things that they were doing. And he says, oh no, you're good. So then 37, I'm 37, and it was in September, and I remember just going, maybe like for a month, I just kind of thought something wasn't right, like with the nipple area and things like that, and I was like, I just don't think this is right. So I went to the doctor, and they just did a self-exam there, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna send you tomorrow. Tomorrow you're gonna go have a diagnostic mammogram. Okay. So I go have a diagnostic mammogram, and they said, okay, we're gonna send you in this room, you're gonna go sit here. And I remember going, it's not good. You're sending me to the little room, the office room. This is not good. So I and my husband at the time, we went and we sat in there, and I remember Barb was the nurse and later became a friend of mine, but she said, well, it's not looking good, Susan. It looks like cancer, but we can't really say for sure till you have an MRI. And so then the MRI specialist, the head of X-ray, he comes down, and there's all these things when you have an MRI, like where you're at in your cycle and all that, it could show false positives, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it could. He said, but if you were my wife, you'd be in there right now. I said, okay. So then at 2:00, I was like at 11, then at 2, I went in and I got an MRI. And then later found out, yes, it was, it just everything happened so fast, but I just remember through that saying to God, Lord, just whatever the answers are, just make them come quick. Please don't make me wait. I'll face whatever comes my way, but please don't let this drag out for a couple weeks. So then Thursday I had a biopsy. So this is Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday I had a biopsy. And Friday morning, my surgeon called me on Friday. It was midday Friday, and he said, Susan, he said, it's cancer. And I just remember saying, okay. And he said, so make sure you have somebody with you. We're having a meeting. We're going to meet Monday morning. Here's your time. You're coming in. Make sure you have somebody with you. And I said, okay, hung up the phone. And I thought, I can't believe he just called me and told me I had cancer over the phone, right? I'm thinking this. And I later come find out, Monday meeting, he's like, I know you're probably mad because I called you, but that was so you could get everything out, and now you can be present here and listen, so I'm not, so on his end, that kudos to him. But at first I was like, what? So I remember I had done posters for the football team, and they were going to sell them to raise money. So I had, funded it, printed all these posters, and the game was that night. And I was like, I can't go do this. And my husband at the time said, yes, let's go. Okay, we know, but let's go. And I remember I went there and we sold these posters, and then I came home and my mom and dad were there, and my mom and I would drink a bottle of wine. Cried, drank a bottle of wine. And then I feel like it was then the next week I seen who was going to be my oncologist, and then within 3 days I was starting chemo because the tumor was 10 centimeters by 5 centimeters, not millimeters, but centimeters. So it took up a large portion of my breast, and And I just remember, okay, whatever. Like, I have 3 kids. It was, I want to say they were like, so it was 2007. So Andrew was, oh gosh, now I'm going to try and do the math. 10, so like 10, 5, and 2, or like around that.
Littles.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And I just remember I was opening my photography studio, and I thought, this is not going to hold me back. Like, let's just go. Let's go. Let's do this. And so yeah, I had 2 rounds of chemo, and one was even before like they knew exactly what type of cancer it was. So she was just like, no, you need to start now. Like, we need to start now. And then I went and seen a surgical doctor in Columbus, and she was not happy that I had started, chemo, because she's like, we don't know what's all going on. But I said, I trust this doctor here in town, in Findlay. And so I had 6 rounds of chemo, and in between there, so I had 2, and it had shrunk it in half. So then I was supposed to go through all 6, and then I would have a bilateral mastectomy. But I went through 2. And then when I went to, and then they said, no, we're moving up your bilateral mastectomy. And me, I was like, wait a minute, I have plans. I have plans in here. I have so plans, right? But no, you need to have it now. And that doctor said, thank God your oncologist started when she did, because it was getting in your bloodstream.
Wow.
So I had 38 lymph nodes taken out on this side and like 8 on this side. So, and then a bilateral mastectomy. The other breast, the left breast was fine, but I didn't want to come back in 2 years and go through everything again. I mean, really, they tried to stop me from doing a bilateral, and I said, I'm not. I have little kids. I've heard stories, women taking off one or doing a lumpectomy, and then they're back 2 years later, you know. So we did that, and then I had radiation, and then some reconstruction and things like that. So
Wow.
Yeah. So it was about a year-long process.
So would you say that with that part of the journey, that your healing came from your mindset, or do you think there was other things that brought it all together that changed your mindset when it came to
I think it was my mindset. I really do. I mean, one, I think, the Lord, saw me and my family through it. First and foremost, my faith. And that's part of the mindset, right? I just remember I was going to fight for those kids. That was my thing. I was going to fight for my kids, fight for my family. I wasn't going to miss birthdays. I wasn't going to miss anniversary. I didn't want to miss any of that. And I also, like, at the time was building my business, so I was like, wait a minute, I'm on a good path here. And I will say, like, the mindset and, like, working through that, so, like, you think, like, mentally and working through that. And so I got through all that, and I opened my studio, and then I remember there were days that I would be working so long, and my husband at the time worked tons of hours too, that's what actually drove me to close my studio. Because I went, you just battled this disease. You just battled all this because you did it for your kids. And so I took a break. I had a studio downtown. I've been doing photography for probably like 25 years, but I had a studio downtown for like 3 years. And I just remember I'm sitting behind a computer and somebody's at home watching my kids, or I didn't miss like big events and things, but it didn't sit right with me, for me, and I was able, like, we were able to do that as a family, to have me home. So I just remember I was like, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah.
So with that, when you, because I know, knowing you, I know that your divorce, in a way, it was kind of public. I mean, people knew you, they knew your husband.
Right.
So it was one of those things, and something so unexpected for you. And then you started going through counseling after you found out about that?
Yes.
what would you say to someone that unexpectedly is going through a divorce? What would be your advice that you would give them? What I know you, and I know that situation, and my heart, like, I cried for you many times because I know it was definitely a sad situation.
Yes.
Do you feel that? Is there enough resources or enough support when it comes to that?
I think it's like you find your people, if that makes sense. I've had a couple people that have reached out to me that they're going through it, and you kind of you help each other out, and I'm one that I'm like, hey, if you just need to talk, I am here. If you just need to because I had friends like that, or like you just need to put something down in an email because you're going to send this and it's not going to end well, send it to me. Just get it out on paper and then send it to me, because I had friends like that did that for me. And I do tell all of them, find somebody that you can go talk to, that has a degree in this kind of thing, right? Whether a therapist, maybe it's a clergy person, something like that, somebody at your church, that sort of thing. So that way you can get a lot of that out, because holding it in it can be dangerous. I mean, even for me, there were days that I just remember thinking, do I even want to get out of bed? There were days like that. And, I still had my daughter at home. So, and I know it was hard on her as well. But getting that help from somebody, that you can talk to about it, and they have that medical background in that, and they can help you through it, I think is really important. I think it's really important to, I know it's not fun. It's really not fun to sit there and keep rehashing, but by doing that, it makes you kind of see things maybe a little differently. Or, people say, oh gosh, don't look back, you're going forward, right? Well, sometimes you got to look back, right? To be like, oh, I overcame that. I did that. Life was really crappy, a year ago or 3 years ago, but man, I overcame that. And, and you can...
It gives you that motivation to move forward.
Right. Yeah, because sometimes, you think, well, who am I? Who am I to give anybody advice? Or, like even you were like, hey, come talk on my podcast. I'm like, who am I to even be here talking to Tara? But I think we all can learn from each other and our life experiences. And I will tell you what I found out from this, when you're younger and you have like, oh, I'm gonna get married, or I'm gonna have this career and all that stuff, and you just kind of have it laid out. And like for me, it was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be empty nesters, and we're gonna do this, and then it's like, we're not. I've realized life is so freaking messy, and if somebody tells you that their life is not messy, then either they're totally bamboozling you and lying, or they just haven't gotten to the messy part yet. I hate to say that, but they just haven't got to the messy part, and I guess that's kind of what builds us as people, and how you go through it. So, but I will say, getting back to someone, when you're going through a divorce, or a relationship breakup, anything like that, it's like losing a person, it's like,
absolutely.
I think it's almost, well, I won't say harder, because, I still have both my parents and, that kind of thing, but you go through grieving steps, because you're grieving, one, losing that person, but you're also grieving everything that you had envisioned for your life. And that's what I was finding was happening was, I was grieving that. I was grieving what I thought my future was going to look like. So I will say, like, you just gotta let the feelings come, and then but you don't sit in them, you know? You can't sit in them for too long, but you do have to feel them, you know? How do we, you know, I'm finding out, like, how do you really know what joy is if you don't know what sadness is? Like, those kind of things, you know? So you do have to go through those feelings after, you know, going through something like that.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
or going through, going through some kind of illness and things like that. You have to, you kind of have a grieving process, and you have to work through those feelings. So
I just find it amazing because cancer and divorce, those are pretty big traumas to go through. And even though, 10 years apart between cancer, that's still in a small amount of time.
Right.
So with counseling, and now you have this, is there, which I also find amazing that there's so many, we've talked about, it helps with ADHD, it helps with autism, the different things that it can help you with. Do you feel that there's a routine or something that you do besides counseling, brain tapping, that's part to keep you mentally, physically on your game?
Sure. Well, I would say, you know, if you don't have a pet, if you don't have a dog or cat, I don't have a cat, you need to get one. I mean, I feel like that, for me, that has been so important to have these animals, because it really is like they comfort you, they keep you on your toes, that kind of thing. So I can't really say, I mean, I feel about, like, I don't exercise. I do walk. I walk, you know, with the dogs, but that's on, you know, not all the time. I used to do a lot of yoga. And I really did, like, it was really great. It's hard to get back into a routine, right? Like, so it's those small steps. And I feel like with everything and, like, the divorce and everything, like, I'm starting to really come out on the other side. So I will say, for me, when you say, like, a routine, okay, so I do love my dogs. Like, if you don't have pets, get pets. So they just do so much for you. I mean, sometimes I look at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you love me even though you just don't even know, like, all the bad things about me, but you still love me. You know what I mean? Like, you know. But anyways, another thing that I am doing is I did join an organization, and, you know, that's how you and I reconnected with BNI, and that has really helped me get out of the house, because I work from home, and it helps me to have, like, you know, okay, I know at least this day I'm getting out in the morning, but now I have all these other appointments, and it's getting me out, and it's really, like, it's helped me so much in just reconnecting with people. I just recently went to a women's networking group. That was awesome. Like, I would just say, like, putting yourself out there. And it can be scary, because you're walking into rooms with people, and, you know, you don't want to really be the wallflower, but you want to be the wallflower, you know, kind of thing.
Sure.
And just, you know, connecting with people, I think, is really important, is to just keep connecting with people. And
So, just to get the viewers to know Susan a little bit more, really simple questions, I promise. It's not going to be anything bad. What would you say is your favorite food or guilty pleasure that you enjoy?
Pizza.
What kind of pizza?
I love Heavenly Pizza
Oh,
in
yes,
town.
yes,
I mean, and
yes.
the thing is I grew up on that too. I'm from Tiffin, so we had AJ's Heavenly Pizza over there. So I love pizza, and I love it with pepperoni, mushroom, and green olives. I love that, like, bite of a green olive on there, like, you know, that kind of zing.
Okay.
But yeah, I love pizza. And that is definitely a guilty pleasure too, because it's not that good for you, but it's good for the soul. It's good for the stomach, and it's
Makes your heart happy.
Yes.
So what would you say, do you have a favorite song or a favorite band that you like to listen to?
I don't know that I have, per se. I mean, this is like, favorite song. I don't really have a favorite song. And I listen to a lot of different music, from country to pop to Christian radio. So I don't have an answer for that one, but I do love my Christian radio. I do love listening to that that message and just the uplifting kind of thing. So yeah, yeah,
I get that.
yeah.
What about a favorite movie?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, that's great. That is
It
great.
was just so freaking corny, and but I just remember that was, I think it was my sophomore year in high school that came out, and I remember with a youth group that I was with, it was like we got to go see it that evening. So yeah, never had a lesson.
So,
Well, that's my favorite part when he's playing the clarinet. And he's like, and he looks at the camera. He's like, "I never had a lesson, and it was horrible." Like, yeah. So that's my.
so
favorite.
do you have that on DVD at home? So you can watch it?
I know I don't, but it's on TV all the time.
no,
So
yeah, that is true. I didn't think about that.
I was just gonna say I probably had the VHS.
That goes way back.
Yeah,
we
yes,
have tons of
I
those
know,
too.
right.
Sitting at home, I keep telling my husband, like, let's get rid of them.
Right, collecting dust.
Yeah, he won't let them go. So, what would you say the best advice that you were ever given that just sticks in your mind?
I always think just to treat people kindly, meet people where they're at, kind of thing. And I always say to people, give me some grace. Like, give people grace. I mean, really. That is kind of my thinking that goes on in my head when I'm either in a bad situation, or you just know maybe somebody's struggling, or whatever, because I would want that in return, right?
Sure.
I want people
Yeah.
to show me some
Yeah,
grace.
absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is definitely, grace is the word that I hear so many people say, give me grace, or mine this week, it was so weird. I had a meeting, and in the meeting we were talking about different things as far as the business on what I wanted to do, and it just came out of me. I'm like, I need to learn to give people more grace. Not that I do something in a bad way, but I tend to, like, if I reach out and I don't hear anything back, I tend to, like, oh, well, they don't want to hear from me, or they don't want to talk, so I'm just gonna move on to the next thing, where I don't think about it as, maybe they were busy, or this was happening, where I need to give that grace. So it's so funny that you say that, because I've heard that so much by talking with people.
Yeah, and I will
grace
say,
is a
even that you saying that also, I think, falls in with some of our anxiety about ourselves, and like we internalize it, take it personally, when it has nothing to do with us, right? It's just, they're busy. It's, they have other things going on. So yeah. So I think by giving people grace, it helps you in return as well. So to not internalize it, right?
Yeah. And that, honestly, that's a technique and a whole nother avenue of learning.
And it's hard.
They need to have that in school.
Yes.
That needs to be something in school. Wow.
Yes.
So what would you say is a favorite motivational quote, or maybe a mantra that you tend to stick by?
I will say, I think it's sometimes you gotta look back to see how far you've come. I do love that. I do love that. Because I think that can kind of give you your own little pat on the back, make you see maybe how powerful and strong you really are, and boost that confidence a little bit, and so forth. So, yeah.
It has been a joy to talk to you. I am so excited to see where everything is going to go for you. I think we need to get the word out more about this, because I can see lives changing.
Oh, definitely. It will do that.
Absolutely.
We'll do that.
So anything that we can do to help,
thank
you've
you.
got my support. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh,
This has
absolutely.
been great. This has been
Good.
great.
I told you it would be pain free. It would be easy.